Have you ever wondered how much dirty money circulates in our economy? One would be surprised to learn that the United Nations estimates between $800 billion and $2 trillion are laundered annually. That's right, folks, billions with a B. This staggering sum is not just sitting idle, it's busy being cleaned and reintroduced into our legal economy. The culprits, often criminal organizations, have mastered the art of making dirty money appear clean. They employ a variety of ingenious methods to launder these illegal proceeds, making it extremely difficult to trace the money back to its illicit origins. This widespread phenomenon of money laundering has a profound impact on our economy, distorting economic data, increasing the risk of financial instability, and undermining the integrity of our financial institutions. Now, how does this process occur, you might ask? Let's dive into the three phases of money laundering. Money laundering is not a simple task. It's a sophisticated process that's divided into three main phases. Let's take a closer look at these phases. First up is the placement phase. This is where the dirty money, the proceeds of illegal activities, is introduced into the legal financial system. It's like trying to sneak a wolf in sheep's clothing into the flock. Often, launderers use nominees, individuals who pose as the legitimate holders of the funds, to deposit the dirty money into banks. This could be as simple as making a cash deposit into a bank account or purchasing assets with the illegal money. Next comes the layering phase, which is all about making the dirty money harder to trace. It's like a game of hide and seek, with the money being passed through various banks and companies to create a complex network of transactions. These transactions are designed to confuse and to obscure the origin of the money. It's a tangled web of transfers, sales, and purchases that would give anyone trying to follow the money trail a real headache. Finally, we have the integration phase. This is where the laundered money, now cleaned up and almost untraceable, is returned to the criminals. It's like the wolf in sheep's clothing has not only blended into the flock, but has now become the shepherd. The criminals can now use their ill-gotten gains openly without fear of detection. They might invest in dummy companies or real estate or any other seemingly legitimate business venture. They could even splurge on luxury goods. The key here is that the money now appears to be part of the legal economy. So there you have it, the three phases of money laundering: placement, layering, and integration. Each phase is crucial to the overall process, and each has its own set of strategies and techniques to ensure the dirty money is cleaned and returned to the criminals without a hitch. Now that we understand the phases of money laundering, let's look at some common methods criminal organizations use. One of the most common methods for laundering dirty money is through cash-based businesses. Picture this. You're a criminal mastermind with heaps of ill-gotten gains. You need a way to clean this money, to make it appear as if it came from legitimate sources. What better way to do this than through a business that deals primarily in cash? Cash-based businesses like bars, restaurants, or even car washes can justify a large flow of cash on a daily basis. This makes them prime targets for criminals looking to launder their dirty money. But how does it work? Well, it's quite simple, really. Firstly, these criminal groups need to acquire the business. To avoid suspicion, they often do this through nominees, individuals who act as a front for the real owners. These nominees might be friends, family, or even employees who are either complicit in the scheme or oblivious to their role in it. Once the business is under their control, the criminals can begin the process of money laundering. This is done by inflating the business's revenues with the cash they want to clean. So, for example, if a bar that typically makes $5,000 on a good night suddenly starts reporting revenues of $10,000, the extra $5,000 is the dirty money being laundered. This process of inflating revenues effectively mixes the dirty money with the legitimate earnings of the business, making it difficult to distinguish between the two. The criminals can then withdraw their now clean money, seemingly earned through the business, without raising any eyebrows. But remember, this is just one method of laundering money. Criminals are constantly finding new and inventive ways to clean their ill-gotten gains. They have to stay one step ahead of the law enforcement agencies tasked with stopping them. But that's just one method. Another common strategy is smurfing. This method involves splitting large amounts of dirty money into smaller, less suspicious transactions. but we'll delve deeper into that in the next scene. Stay tuned, because the world of money laundering is vast and complex, and we're just scratching the surface. Smurfing is another common method of money laundering, and it involves a network of collaborators. Now, you might be wondering, why Smurfing? Well, the term was derived from the popular cartoon show where a village of Smurfs work together to accomplish tasks. Similarly, in the world of money laundering, Smurfs are individuals who work together to make dirty money look clean. Here's how it works. Criminal organizations recruit a group of people, often referred to as Smurfs, to make numerous small deposits of illegal cash into their own bank accounts. By keeping these transactions under the radar, they avoid triggering the anti-money laundering thresholds set by financial institutions. Now imagine having an army of these Smurfs, each depositing small amounts of cash in different banks at different times. It's like a giant game of whack-a-mole for authorities trying to track these transactions. Once the dirty money is safely deposited in the bank, the layering phase begins. This is where the money is passed through various banks or financial institutions, often in different countries, to obscure its origins. The money might be used to purchase assets, pay for services, or simply transferred between accounts. The aim is to create a complex web of transactions that are hard to trace back to their illicit source. In some instances, the Smurfs might even use their own names for these transactions, further muddying the waters. After all, it's much more difficult to prove that John Doe, a seemingly ordinary citizen, is part of a large-scale money laundering scheme than it is to pin it on a known criminal. The beauty, or perhaps the horror, of Smurfing lies in its simplicity. It's a game of numbers and deception, where the more players you have, the harder it is to trace the money back to its source. But here's the kicker. Smurfing doesn't just involve small-time crooks or unsuspecting citizens roped into a criminal scheme. In some cases, money laundering even involves the complicity of individuals in prominent roles in financial companies. Sometimes it's not just the criminals, but the bankers and the financial system itself that facilitates money laundering. It's a shadowy dance where the line between legality and illegality blurs. Some individuals, especially those in prominent roles within financial institutions, use their positions to launder money through targeted operations. Think of currency exchanges or international transfers. These operations can easily mask the dirty money trail, making it appear legitimate. Now, let's take it a notch higher. Picture this: entire banks controlled by criminal organizations. Yes, you heard it right. There are instances where the fox is not just in the hen house, it owns the hen house. In such scenarios, affiliated bankers are not just participants, they're puppeteers, orchestrating the money laundering symphony from behind the scenes. These complicit banks become the high-tempo beat of the layering phase, helping to further obscure the origin of illicit funds. But the world of money laundering doesn't stop at banks and traditional financial systems. Oh no, it's a field that evolves with time, technology, and opportunity. Enter cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Monero, and their digital siblings. These decentralized systems offer a parallel financial universe that is difficult to control and trace. It's like a Wild West for money launderers, a frontier where traditional rules and regulations struggle to hold sway. Cryptocurrencies can be particularly useful in the layering phase, enabling the transfer of large sums of money without a declared owner or under a false name. It's like disappearing in plain sight, a magic trick that leaves authorities grasping at straws. So what we've seen today is just the tip of the iceberg. Money laundering is a complex and widespread phenomenon, a hidden economy that continues to evolve. It's a world where cash-based businesses, Smurfs, complicit banks, and cryptocurrencies all play a part in a grand, illicit symphony. And the conductor? Well, they're always looking for the next big opportunity, the next loophole, the next innovation in their endless quest to make dirty money clean. Money laundering, a hidden world that's closer to our daily life than we might think. From the quiet corners of cash-based businesses where revenues are inflated with dirty money to the digital labyrinth of cryptocurrencies, this illicit operation is both complex and varied. Smurfing, the method of dividing large amounts of dirty money into smaller, less conspicuous amounts, is a common strategy. It's like trying to spot a single grain of sand on a beach. And then there's the complicity of some within the banking industry who use their privileged positions to facilitate these shady transactions, further muddying the waters. All these methods, from the seemingly mundane to the highly sophisticated, serve one purpose: to reintroduce the proceeds of illegal activities back into the legal economy. As we continue to fight this criminal activity, it's crucial to stay informed and vigilant, because the more we know, the harder it becomes for criminals to hide their dirty money. Dirty,